For 15 and 16, we have to graph the inequalities and shade the intersection. So first thing I want to make sure is they're in slope-intercept form. And in this case, they are not. So the first inequality, I'm going to go ahead and write that down. And I need to move my 5 over. So I'm going to subtract the 5. And 3y is less than or equal to negative 5x plus 15. Then I'm going to divide by 3. And we're going to get y is less than or equal to negative 5/3 x. And then if I divide, we get 5. And then the second inequality, it just stays the same. I also need to decide if I'm dashed or solid and up or down, like how I shade. So for the first one, that little equal to line means that you're going to have a solid line. So S for solid. This is less than or equal to, which means you shade down. Okay, for this one, we have less than, so that's dashed. And because this is X instead of Y, you have to shade left or right. And so since it's pointing this direction to the left, we're going to be shading to the left. I need to match that arrow with this less than sign. And they do match. Okay. So to graph the first one, I'm going to use that purple, so we're going to start at 5. And we're going to go down 5, right 3, because 3 is positive. Okay, and again, that was solid. And it said that we're shading down. So we would go back to where you started and go down, and this side of the graph is what you would shade. So this whole part is a very light purple. If you want to shade just a little bit, you could. Or you can lightly shade this part of the graph purple. Or whatever color you chose to shade. Then for the second one, it says to x equal x is less than 3, so I go to the x at 3 and put a point, and then I'm doing a dashed line up and down. Okay, so then if I am shading to the left, this little corner, like this entire side, gets shaded. Okay, so shade lightly. Alright, so that I see that there's a little blue shade right here, and then this has both colors. So I'm going to take a different color. I'm just going to take this green, and I'm going to shade the section that's the intersection of both colors a darker color. Alright, so we would say that this part right here is your solution. So I would be looking for the solid, the dashed, and then the section that you shaded darker. Alright, for number 16, the first one's already in slope-intercept form. I'm going to add a 1 in there. My slope is 1 over 1. And that one, we'll do purple again, is dashed. It's greater than, so you're shading above. For the second inequality, we have to move that x to the other side. So I have y is greater than negative x plus 2. But again, there's a negative 1 in there. And that's negative 1 over 1. And so that would be a solid line because it has the equal to part. And greater, again, is shade above. So for the first one, we're going to start at 5. And we're going to rise 1, run 1. And then also go down 1, left 1. And draw a dashed line. And we get the shade above. That would be this part of the line. So just kind of a light shade to show that this section is shaded purple. For the second one, we start at positive 2. And we go down 1, right 1. So keep going down 1, right 1. Also going up 1, left 1. And then that was a solid line. And here we have to shade above. So the part that overlaps, or the intersection of shading, would be this section right here. It has purple and blue.